what I like. See, because as sons, people don't understand, man. You know, yeah, you guys may have a different life, but at the same
I've been
time,
to a couple Diddy parties. Now, I'm risking a lot by saying this because I know as soon as I say that, all the assumptions are gonna come in and if I don't say evil things were taking place, then I'm covering for them. And if I do say evil things were taking place, then I'm one of them ones like, yeah, Lecrae, expose it.
For ages, Diddy's extravagant parties have kept tongues wagging across the city. But now, with federal agents raiding his domain in search of evidence and a string of lawsuits raining down on him since last year, the drama has reached a fever pitch. And just when you thought the dust was settling, think again. Revelations keep pouring in, and we're here for every juicy detail. First, Jamie Foxx stirred the pot with some insider info. Then, 50 Cent washed his hands of the whole affair. But now, all eyes are on Kevin Hart, as leaked footage emerges of him playing host at one of Diddy's notorious soirées. The video has set tongues wagging, suggesting that perhaps the rumors of Diddy's wild parties aren't just hearsay. Diddy and Kevin Hart have long been tight, with Hart's quick wit often adding levity to the festivities. But recent events hint that their friendship might be crossing some lines. And with Diddy finding himself in hot water, it seems like celebrities are keeping their distance, avoiding any association that could drag them into the Diddy drama. They're steering clear of anything that might link them to the saga. But fate has a funny way of unfolding, and nothing stays hidden forever. Leaked footage of Kevin Hart hosting parties alongside Diddy has surfaced, adding fuel to the fire and suggesting that he may have been involved in the alleged escapades. As legal troubles loom over the horizon, Kevin could find himself in hot water too. The possibility of legal repercussions looms large, and who knows, the authorities might turn their attention to him next. So hold on tight, because the truth about what really went down between Diddy and Kevin is on the verge of being revealed, and it promises to be one wild roller coaster of a journey.
Hey, yo, listen. Yo, come in here. No homo. We're gonna get some ladies in here though, but we're gonna make sure our breakfast fresh.
Say pause.
Let's dive into the whirlwind that's got the internet buzzing over Kevin and Diddy's recent antics. In the leaked footage, we catch a glimpse of the dynamic duo co-hosting a bash. And brace yourself because things get a bit eyebrow-raising. While Diddy is busy urging folks to hit the dance floor, Kevin chimes in with a joke about hat etiquette, implying that at Diddy shindigs, rules are rules, hats off, unless your name's Sean Combs.
You gotta take your hat off. It's a little bit disrespectful to be in my house with your hat on, okay?
All y'all,
and for real,
these hot-ass beanie caps, get the beanie caps off.
Hold on, where my son at?
The light-skinned dude with the good hair. That's just...
It's one of them.
Shout out to Lil Diddy 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Now, if you're wondering what's the big deal here, let me tell you. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard the wild rumors about Diddy's parties. But just in case you need a reminder of how wild and unsettling these parties can be, let me fill you in. In a lawsuit brought by Lil Rod, it's claimed that Diddy installed sneaky cameras all over his places in Los Angeles and Star Island. The lawsuit says these cameras caught celebrities, artists, music big shots, and even athletes doing illegal stuff without knowing they were being filmed. And guess what? Diddy supposedly has compromising footage of everyone who showed up at his parties, labeled as freak-offs in the lawsuit lingo. But wait, there's more to this saga. Illegal substances play a significant role in these allegations too. It's alleged that Diddy frequently threw SXT King parties, where illegal substances and chemicals were said to be in use. Recent developments have seen arrests linked to substance charges, with police raiding Diddy's lavish mansions in both Los Angeles and Miami. In a particularly eyebrow-raising incident, Brendan Paul found himself in hot water when he was nabbed at Miami Airport on suspicion of possessing multiple substances. Rumors are swirling that these substances were intended for delivery to Diddy and were destined to be used at his infamous parties. Here's another eye-opener. The guests at these parties weren't just your average celebrities and A-listers from the entertainment world. Nope, we're talking about high-profile names getting mixed up in all of this. The lawsuit suggests that Diddy's connections to celebrities made his parties seem legit, pulling in guests who wanted to mingle with the rich and famous. But hold on, there's a darker side to this story. It's alleged that these parties sometimes included SX workers and even underage girls. And get this, Attendees were supposedly pressured into signing non-disclosure agreements, keeping quiet about what went down behind closed doors. It is said that underage girls are forced to participate in these encounters with powerful individuals. But shockingly, it's not just girls. Even some of the most famous celebrities you've probably heard of have been rumored to be involved and victimized. Let's not get too excited because we're going to reveal who these celebrities are later in the video. In a different legal case, singer Cassie Ventura made surprising claims about her former longtime partner Diddy. She said she was pressured into taking part in a voyeurism scenario where she had sex with male escorts while Diddy watched, did private things, and recorded videos. A close friend of Ventura's, Tiffany Red, supported these claims by describing a troubling incident at Cassie's birthday celebration, where she saw Diddy pushing Cassie into intimate situations with a male escort. These claims have caused a lot of shock and disapproval, with Red describing the events as harmful and wrong. Diddy's representatives have strongly denied the accusations, stating that settling legal matters doesn't mean admitting guilt. They've criticized the recent police searches of Diddy's homes as excessive and unfriendly, saying they're part of a campaign driven by false accusations. Despite the legal battles and attention from the media, Diddy insists he's innocent and promises to fight to prove it. The truth about these claims is still unclear, but one thing is for sure, given the growing number of individuals coming forward as victims and the long-standing rumors surrounding him, there could indeed be some validity to the allegations against him. Another thing that has been on the streets for decades is Diddy hosting these basketball leagues at his parties. But here's the catch. These games aren't your typical run-of-the-mill matches. Nope, they're held in the buff, with all the players being young fellas shooting hoops without a shirt on, while Diddy's high-profile buddies watch from the sidelines. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would anyone want to do that? Well, it seems there are some unsavory characters out there who get a kick out of watching this kind of thing. And it's not just that. Diddy's own preferences have been the subject of speculation for a long time. Now, let's be clear, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being gay. But when you're engaging in questionable activities while trying to maintain a squeaky clean image in the media, well, that's a whole different story. To begin, let's rewind the clock back to the 90s, where whispers about Diddy's personal life started echoing through the grapevine. Now, it's essential to remember the context of the time. The entertainment industry wasn't as progressive and accepting as it is today, so it's not surprising that Diddy might have chosen to keep certain aspects of his life private. But here's where things get interesting. It's not just about who Diddy loves. It's about some eyebrow-raising allegations involving rituals and underage individuals. That's right, folks. There's been talk on the streets for years about Diddy supposedly enticing young boys to his parties and involving them in activities that would make your grandma blush. And get this, it's not just for Diddy's own enjoyment. Supposedly, as we mentioned before, these gatherings act as some sort of initiation where people have to prove their loyalty to Diddy and his inner circle in exchange for fame and fortune. Now, one of the alleged victims of this is possibly one of the most famous celebrities globally today, none other than Justin Bieber. I mean, we've all witnessed Justin's tough times in the years 2016 to 2018 as he struggled with substance addiction. Rumor has it that Diddy was the one who supposedly introduced him to these substances at a very young age. Justin himself has claimed that he was introduced to substances when he was just 16 years old. And if you guess who he was hanging out with at that age, well, it's none other than Diddy. There's even a video on YouTube where Diddy brags about spending a whopping 48 hours alone with Justin. It really makes you wonder what they were getting up to during all that time, doesn't it?
You ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy.
Now, what exactly would a 37-year-old Diddy be doing alone with a 16-year-old Justin Bieber? Especially now that these alleged misdeeds from back then are being brought to light. And remember that cringe-worthy video of Diddy and Justin Bieber promoting Diddy's album in the early 20s? It's all starting to come together now, isn't it?
Arenas and everything, starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners.
This right here is my young brother right here. He's been a big supporter of mine. My album's coming out.
Justin seemed completely tongue-tied at the beginning of the video, and there was this weird moment where Diddy put his arm around him. Now, we're not jumping to conclusions here, But it's interesting how Justin Bieber hasn't opened up about all the details of his time with Diddy. Sometimes silence speaks volumes, especially when there are rumors swirling around. And as it turns out, Usher was not the only one who Diddy allegedly did things to during these parties, because YK Osiris is believed to be another one of Diddy's alleged victims. For those of you who don't know, YK Osiris is one artist who has long been suspected of being Diddy's alleged boy toy. There was a time when he and Diddy were sneaking around so much that people naturally got suspicious. The suspicions grew even stronger when he took a trip along with Diddy to Jamaica. Men taking trips together isn't a big deal per se, because it happens all the time. And it doesn't mean that something suspicious is going on. But in this case, fans were convinced that there was more to the trip than met the eye, because everything about it screamed sus. Another figure at the heart of these wild parties is Usher. Let's rewind the clock a bit. Usher, just a teen at 13, was sent by his mentor, L.A. Reid, to live with Diddy, hoping he'd learn the ropes from the experienced mogul. But what Usher experienced under Diddy's guidance went way beyond his years. There's always been a cloud of secrecy surrounding Usher's time with Diddy, and in a candid interview with Howard Stern, Usher hinted at some troubling and messed up aspects of that period in his life.
Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
And Usher's stance on keeping his kids far away from anything resembling a puffy camp speaks volumes about the seriousness of his experience. It's like he made a solemn vow never to subject his children to anything even remotely similar to what he went through, highlighting just how deeply it affected him. Usher even divulged that Diddy pressured him to keep secrets from his own parents, adding another layer of complexity to their relationship.
Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, they didn't know nothing about this.
Oh.
I was having a good time.
In another intriguing interview, Usher dropped some tantalizing hints about Diddy's questionable actions, though he didn't come right out and spill the beans. It was like he was holding back, as if he had a treasure trove of stories waiting to be unleashed in a juicy tell-all book someday. He hinted at a time filled with shady scenes where the lines between right and wrong seem blurred. And if that wasn't enough to keep tongues wagging, there's this video floating around where Diddy accidentally spills the beans that he and Usher used to be roommates. And guess who was hosting this little reunion? None other than the comedic dynamo himself, Kevin Hart.
That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older.
In this candid moment captured on camera, Diddy reminisced about the good old days, chuckling about the silly squabbles they had over who got top bunk when Usher was just a youngin' around 10 years old. Now that's a bombshell revelation that's sure to have everyone buzzing. As you can see, Kevin Hart seems to be no stranger to the glitz and glamour of these parties, having been a fixture in such circles for quite some time. But what's truly peculiar is the recent claims made by none other than Cat Williams. Yep, you heard that right. Cat Williams has been sounding off about how Kevin is supposedly an industry plant, willing to do whatever it takes to maintain his position at the top, even if it means cozying up to Diddy.
Heard of a comedian that came to LA, and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words.
For those who aren't familiar, Kevin Hart's rise to fame began like many others in the entertainment industry, as a comedian, hustling to make a name for himself. However, unlike some of his peers like Cat Williams and Dave Chappelle, Hart seemed to have found a different path, one that led him to cling onto the coattails of Diddy. Now you might be wondering, where's the evidence? Well, let's dive into the rumors that have been circulating for quite some time. There's this long-standing whisper in the industry that if you want to make it big, you've got to play by certain rules. And one of those rules allegedly involves attending Diddy's parties, and even going as far as wearing a dress on national TV or in big-screen productions. What's truly fascinating is Kevin Hart's initial refusal to wear a dress on stage, citing his dignity and recognizing the implications of wearing a dress or portraying gay characters as a perceived price one must pay for success. It seemed like he was taking a stand against conforming to industry norms and stereotypes. But lo and behold, just a few months later, he was spotted wearing a dress in an SNL skit.
He doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him.
Definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross.
Wow. I don't think anyone's...
Talk about ironic, right? This turn of events didn't set well with Cat Williams, who saw it as a betrayal of sorts. He couldn't help but connect the dots, especially considering that around that same time, Hart had officially signed with Diddy and seemed to be aligning himself with Diddy's endeavors. And it's not just Kevin who is in the heat for this, because another thing that is very recent in these parties is none other than Jamie Foxx. And unlike Kevin Hart, who knew better than not to spill the beans, Jamie let loose with his tongue, sharing a little too much about what really goes down at Diddy's shindigs. But let's rewind a bit. Remember those chilling accusations against Diddy involving secret recordings of his encounters? Well, Jamie dropped a bombshell revealing that Diddy entrusted him to play cameraman at these exclusive parties. It was a role that came with its perks, sure, but it also meant Jamie was privy to some seriously shady stuff.
The town car with a camera, say, yo, Puff, you gotta let me film this, the whole thing. We need to document this, Playboy. He was like, let him through. And I'm like, all right, I'm through.
And while Kevin Hart played it cool and kept quiet, Jamie couldn't resist spilling the tea. But here's where things take a sinister turn. Shortly after Jamie's candid revelations hit the internet, he fell mysteriously ill. Rumors swirled, fingers pointed, and prayers were sent up for the beloved entertainer. His daughter issued a statement downplaying the severity of the situation, but those in the know couldn't shake that feeling that something darker was afoot. They knew that it was Diddy's doing, as months before Jamie was on all sorts of videos exposing what happened at these parties. And Diddy has a tendency to silence people when they begin to expose him. This was actually mentioned in one of the lawsuits filed against him. In one particular chilling instance, Lil Rod went as far as to allege that Diddy not only boasted about shooting people, but also revealed his ability to evade any repercussions. The lawsuit detailed an unsettling scenario where Lil Rod found himself uncomfortably witnessing Diddy proudly displaying his firearm collection, recounting past incidents with a disturbing nonchalance. Diddy allegedly confessed to being involved in a nightclub shooting alongside rapper Shine in New York City. Shockingly, it was even claimed that Jennifer Lopez, then Diddy's girlfriend, had a hand in facilitating the event by smuggling the gun into the club. With such revelations emerging, it's no wonder Jamie may have thought twice about airing Diddy's dirty laundry again. The fear of retaliation was palpable, and Kevin Hart, despite potentially being privy to the same information, wisely chose silence over disclosure. Perhaps he understood the grave consequences of crossing paths with Diddy, opting to protect his well-being rather than risk suffering a similar fate. Their silence, however, doesn't erase the underlying issues at play. Diddy's alleged actions and the culture of fear surrounding him raise significant concerns about accountability within the industry. It begs the question of how many others have remained silent out of fear or complicity, allowing such behavior to persist unchecked. Given the abundance of available footage and the recent federal raid on his residence, it's only a matter of time before all of Diddy's secrets are laid bare for the world to see. Fans are eagerly anticipating every twist and turn of Diddy's downfall, as well as the involvement of those who supported him. Kevin Hart finds himself among those individuals who are undoubtedly anxious about Diddy's potential downfall, realizing that if Diddy goes down, he won't be the only one affected. One fan expressed their sentiments stating, "I don't care about Diddy's preference, but mistreating underage males and females and blackmailing people after you film them in uncompromising situations, using substance on people without their consent, moving substances, laundering money and destroying people's artistic careers because you had the power to do it, shady contracts, this is why he's in trouble. Oh, and let's not forget destroying Cassie's career in life." Another echoed similar sentiments, adding, "This situation gets messier every day as more light is shined on the darkness that it is Hollywood, aka Hollyweird, and the music industry will never be the same after this debacle comes to pass, when all individuals involved are held fully accountable and all victims are made whole." But the big question remains, will Diddy and Kevin Hart be held accountable for their actions? Or will they manage to evade consequences? Share your thoughts in the comments below. While we eagerly await further updates, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos for more compelling content like this.